So the plot of Romeo and Juliet is basically boy meets girl, but boy and girl are not allowed to be together because their families hate each other.
Like
so
really
much.
bad.
Like really bad. It was like, I don't know, it's like an ocean you couldn't cross. There's no boats, nothing. There's no way to bridge this gap. So unbeknownst to everyone, they fall in love and then
Get married.
and then they get in trouble and then they try to run away and
By Juliet drinking poison and deciding that the best way to get away from her family is to be dead, but pretend dead.
But you see, she sent a note through someone to Romeo, but he never got it. I'm Romeo, I'm a girl, but I'm playing the boy, it's fun.
Welcome to opera.
Welcome to opera. And so he never received the note, so when he shows up to their rendezvous point thinking that he was going to meet someone who's alive, she's dead. And then he decides to take the same poison and kill himself, and then as he's dying, she wakes up and then realizes that he's died and dead now, and then
Real dead.
Really dead. Like there's no revival of that. And then she's like, well, you know what?
And then she dies.
And then
Real
she
dead.
dies. Real dead.
And then the families are like, well, this was useless. This is dumb. We probably should have let them be together. But you know, hindsight.
Hindsight is the year 2020. And then, yeah, so good
That's
things
the-
came out of it,
sure.
but they died. And that's the origination of star-crossed lovers or something.
Something like that.
Big
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Little big star-crossed lovers.
That's it.
Originally, I went to school to be a vocal performance major before switching over to music education, and I wanted to go for musical theater, and the voice teacher that I had said, I don't do musical theater, you're going to do opera. And I was kind of forced into it, but then I learned to love it, and I think it's beautiful. It's a lot of work, but it's very fruitful response and things.
And I had the opposite journey of that. I didn't know that opera existed, and I went to school for musical theater, and I was like, why is everybody yelling all the time? I don't understand this. So I recently shifted more into opera, but I've also always loved classic works because I think that they're always the origin of a story. It's like we know so many stories in pop culture that all pretty much come from these classic works, and it's just, I feel like it's always the most honest telling of those stories, and that's always what I search for in arts, is like finding the truth and telling that story.
Well, these stories have been around for centuries. These works have been performed for at least 200 years or 100 years. And it's one of the first originations of these works. So in order to understand where society is, how we've arrived at this place, we need to look at our roots. And the root of a lot of popular music stems from opera, and opera in their time period was like the music no one should perform, and you know, it was sophisticated, but it was also very risque and it challenged boundaries. And so in order to understand who we are as a culture, it's important to look back on what we have done and accomplished and cherish those works and keep them alive.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And also, going to classic works live is still something that's so rare in our day-to-day lives to be able to experience art in that way, because movies and TV shows are great, but there's nothing like being in the room with the artists and like feeling their breath as they're breathing, and I feel like classic works are the best way to experience that kind of feeling just in the room. It's like so present, if that makes sense.
Okay, so my favorite dessert is rum cake without the almonds on the side because I hate nuts, but everything else is delicious. And cocktail, we usually have a nice margarita. My husband makes great margarita.
So I also love margaritas. We often consume them together. It's a great bonding experience. And then my favorite dessert is tiramisu, which is very hard for me to get now. So if I can't eat that, I'll eat creme brulee very, very happily.